Hello, it's Precious again. Welcome back to my channel, and we're going to work out this sweater dress together. You can put it on as a sweater dress, you can put it on as a sweater, but I love it as a sweater dress, though it's a little bit short. So we are going to start up by getting our requirements near. I'm going to use a 4.5mm crochet hook, robin yarn. It's 100% acrylic and it's thin yarn, so we shall have double strands. So I recommend you to use any type of yarn you're comfortable with, tape measure, pair of scissors, and those are the strands we're going to double. There are two, so that it can match up what you really want to make, because it's really thin yarn. So we are going to start up by making chains of 127 long. So make 127 chains and we shall get back. So I have my 127 chains, and add more to 1, 2, and then where you blocked 1, 2, count 1, 2 from the hook to where you blocked into the third is where you insert your hook, but we are going to work on the back loops only. So back loop is where you're going to make your half double crochet. So continue on the back loops only, make half double crochet. If you ask me why for this, I'm going to tell you that it just makes the work look rhyming. It will rhyme, it will not show that this part and this was connected, so it will look really the same. I will show you how it will look after I finish this little part. It will look exactly that part for the chain, and then this part, they will look exactly the same. So I'm done with my first row, and I'll finish with you the last stitch still on the back loop. So if someone sees where I connected from, it really looks different, but if you already do crochet, you will know when you connect, of course it will look like that. I don't know if I'm the only one who makes it that way, but it protrudes a little. So I made 28.5 inches long. So if you want to measure it before you make your first row, you can do it, but then make sure it stretches to 30, because when you stretch this, it goes to 30 inches long. So we are going to continue with our back loop, making half double crochet until the very last back loop. So on that very first back loop, you make half double crochet. If you don't know how to make it, you do it like this. You yarn over on the back loop, you pull through and then pull through all, just like that. It's very easy. Okay, someone may be wondering why this video again. So I made this video to give a clear explanation for the previous video that I just uploaded last week, because it was clear but not in explanation, so that's why I had to do the explanation again. So this is how you do it. You count two stitches remaining, then you don't put in that. That's how you prevent your work from looking one side long, the other part shorter. So this is how I do it. When you reach there, count 2 stitches remaining, then you stop there. So you chain more 2 and turn your work and start on the next row. So this is what you're going to do until you have until you have 15 rows with you, and that's when I'll get back to you, and should stretch to 7 inches long. 7 inches. So I'm done with my 15 rows, and those are 7 inches. So I'm going to start the reduction. We have to reduce to make the slope. So this is the neck area, is where we are going to reduce from. Yeah, this is how you do the second last stitch. You're going to make a half double crochet, and then the last stitch you make a half double crochet, but only on the back loop, and then pull through all together. So that's a reduction. So chain 2, turn your work, and make another reduction as you're going down. So when you reach down there, you will not make any reduction or any increment, because that is the lower part. So that lower part will have the same effect on when you're working on the back part, because this is the front part of your dress. So this is how you reduce it from this part. The first stitch you're going to make half double crochet on the back loop, then the second stitch also half double crochet before pulling them all together, and then you pull them all through at once, and then go normally, half double crochet until the very last stitch. So continue, and let me show you here how to do it. Count 4, just to be sure. Count 4, and then make half double crochets, 2 of them in 2 stitches, and then pull through all together. So I decided to bring that back so that you can see it clearly, but here we are still continuing. Make sure you make a reduction of 9 rows, and then we shall start increasing when we are done with our 9 rows. So not forgetting, this is the front part, and I'm repeating this video because it was really, the explanation was not so clear because it had noise, because I was getting comments saying noise, we're hearing noise, so I had to make another one for you guys. So this is how we are going to increase in the last stitch, and that is the very last stitch. We're going to make 2 half double crochets, just like that, and then chain 2 and turn your work. You turn your work and make an increase again. So in that very first stitch on the back loop, you're going to make a half double crochet. That is the back loop. Those are 2 half double crochets. So make 2 half double crochets in the first stitch, but on the back loop only. So continue until the very last back loop. We may call it stitch, but working on the back loop, and I'll get you there. So this is how it will look like: a depression, then an increment. An increment makes a heel-like thing. It looks like a V. That's for the front part, and then for the back part, it's just the same. So make the same number, because in that front part, the one we've been working on, there are 46 rows, and they should be the same number for the back part. So make 46 rows for the back part, no increment, no reduction, because it has no neck. So from the behind, don't consider a neck, it's only for the front that you make a reduction and increment. So now we are going to join our 2 pieces together, and that is the front and the back panel. So we are going to use single crochets to join them together. And this is what you're going to do to make your work rhyme. You're going to follow, there is a depression and a heel like thing, so that's what you're going to follow. So we are working now, right now we are on the protruded part. So on the protruded part is where you're going to make a half, sorry, it's where you're going to make a single crochet. So that is it. It kind of look like a stitch. So on that, that's where you're going to make a single crochet. So make a single crochet on that protruded part, and in the depression you make a single crochet too. So now you're going to the depression. So here we are done, and we have our work fully done. And then the connecting part is fully done, so you have to cut your yarn and start up on the neck area. So this is how your work will look like after connecting. So when you're starting on the neck area, please make sure you turn your work to the right side. It was on the wrong side and now it has to be on the wrong side, sorry, on the right side, and you're going to make single crochets. So just follow the same procedure, what you've been doing to connect. It's how you're going to do here, but this time we are not connecting, we are starting a foundation for the neck. So make single crochets. In the space you make a single crochet. That's the same thing you've been doing there, but I never explained it. In the space you make a single crochet, then in the stitch also a single crochet, and the stitch looks like a depression, another one looks like a protruded thing. So when you're done and making one single crochet on each space, stitch, space, stitch, space, like that until you're done, and then connect with a slip stitch. So when you're done connecting, chain up. You're going to chain up 15 chains long, and this is after turning your work. First have to turn your work and then chain up 15, and then add more 2, those are like 17 after blocking the 15th chain. So on the 15th chain is where you're going to start making your half double crochet going downwards to the body. So it's the same, just make it, and we've reached the joining part. You have to connect it to the other part. So count 1, the second one is where you're going to slip stitch. So that's the first slip stitch. Go to the second, another slip stitch, those are 2, and then the third slip stitch, and then turn your work. And those are 3 stitches that you have slip stitched in. So count 3 stitches. So into the 4th is where you're going to make your half double crochet on the back loop. Not forgetting you're working only on the back loop. So continue until that whole row is done, and I'll meet you up. So when you're done, chain 2 and turn your work. So I have to remind you, if you're working on the back part, that is the back part, like the behind part of the dress, there is no increment, no reduction. The number of stitches should be the same. That is just to make your work look the same, not protruding or small, big, no. So here is still the same. And now we've reached the front part of the dress, the very front. Then now we are going to start increasing because it's a reduction, so we are going to increase. Sorry. So you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Into that fourth stitch, you're going to make two half double crochets in the first stitch. In that same stitch, you're going to make 2 half double crochets on the back loop. So continue working on the back loop with half double crochets, no increment, no reduction, as you reach the tip of the neck area. So now here we are going to increase 2. So make 2 half double crochets in the last back loop, just like this, and then connect your work to the main body. So skip 1 stitch, into the second stitch make a slip stitch, another slip stitch, and then the third slip stitch, and then you turn your work. So increase again. Here we are increasing until we are done with that whole slope, and then when we are climbing up we shall have to reduce. As you go on increasing, the number of stitches will also increase, so don't get scared. For the front part, the stitches have to increase. So back loop only, make half double crochets. So work from there up to here, and we shall proceed climbing that hill. So we've reached the middle, and this is where we have to increase. So we have to reduce from. So here you're going to make a half double crochet. Don't pull through. Make half double crochet in the first stitch, and again in the second stitch make half double crochet and pull through all, and then proceed to the next stitch, but working only on the back loop. So in the back loop make half double crochets only. So this is how we reduce. When you reach here, when there are 2 back loops remaining, you make 2 half double crochets and pull through all together, and then connect your work. So skip 1, into the second stitch is where you make a slip stitch. That's the first slip stitch, the second slip stitch, and then the third slip stitch. So turn your work, count 3 stitches. Into the fourth is where you put your half double crochet, and again into the fifth you put your half double crochet again, and then pull through all together, just like that, and proceed with your work. So now we have to connect our work. We are still on the neck area. You have to connect with you have to connect it with only single crochets. And for this part, you get the back loop of this part and the back loop of the other part, and then connect together the back loop of this side and the front loop of the other side and connect. So now we are going to start on the arm portion, but before starting you have to count 30 stitches leaving up the arm area, and that's where I marked mine. So use a stitch marker or a different yarn, a different color of yarn, and then you mark it. So now we are going to join this part of the dress, the back to the front, from the side, moving up to where our stitch marker is. So get the back loop of this part and the front loop of the other part, and then you connect with a single crochet. This is how it will look. So we've just reached where our stitch marker was, and that is now the arm portion. We are going to start making our very first row of the arm. So make the very first row of the arm, and the very first row has no increase and has no decrease. So make the first row. From the second row is where we shall start our decrease, and we shall have 30 rows in total. So those are 29 rows of decrease. So when you reach here is where you're going to connect your work. Remember, we are not yet decreasing, so right away from here you're going to connect your work. So this is how you should do it. When you reach the arm part, just take your measurements, or you decide on how long you want your arm portion to be. So mine, it's going to be 30 rows, and that is really long. According to me, I love it like that. So this is now how we are going to reduce it. So it's the same way we're reducing for the neck. So when you reach there, I'll show you again, because this part we've missed it out. I'm going to show you how we are going to reduce until we are done with our arm portion. So this is how I reduce when I'm joining it. The very last part, when there are two back loops remaining, you make 2 stitches in them. Before pulling through all, you connect as if you're connecting with a slip stitch and pull through all of them. So you chain 2, you turn your work, and then you start working on the back loop, but with a reduction. This is where I'm going to show you how I reduce from the start. So you're going to get the back loop of the first stitch, again the second back loop, and then pull through all, and then continue normally working on the back loops only with half double crochets until you reach the joining part. So this is how it will look, and I've made my 30 rows. So from here you're going to chain 7 long, and this will be for the wristband. So chain 7 and add more 2, and then this part is optional. If you want to work on the back loop, it's your choice, but I decided to work normally using slip stitches. So work in the stitches using slip stitches only until the very last stitch, and they should be 7 stitches, no increment, no reduction, and then we connect together. So when you reach here, that very first stitch, you're going to make a slip stitch into the second, you make another slip stitch, and then turn your work. So here you count two back loops. Into the third, you make your slip stitch. So for this part, we are only doing it with slip stitch. So we break that last part. So you chain 1 and turn, then continue with slip stitch only until the wristband is done, and then we join our work together. So reaching here, I realize the hook is big and it's very hard to work with the slip stitch issue. So I decided to change my hook, and this is a 3.5mm crochet hook. If you always watch my video, you'll realize that these are the 2 hooks that I normally use, and it's really helpful. For this part, it's helpful because it needs a smaller hook, and this hook is a little bit thin, so it will work for it. So get the back loop, and then make a single crochet. So the back loop from here and the front loop from there, and connect with a single crochet. I really want to say thank you guys. We've come to the end of our video. I hope you love it, and if you like it, please give it a big thumb up. I'm so excited because you guys were really helping me, because you let me know that my video had noise, and you would not hear anything. So I've tried to work on it, but I still don't know if it's really better, because I've just tried to cover up the problem, but I don't know if I've done it so well. So if I've done it well, I hope it's good. If you like the video, please give a thumb up. Thank you.